Today's story is one that feels as though it was pulled straight from the script of a high-stakes drama, yet it unfolded right before the public eye in real life, leaving fans shaken, hearts racing, and social media ablaze with endless conversations. This time, the spotlight doesn't just shine on Lee Minho and Hye Kyo, whose chemistry has always captivated audiences, but also on Joong, who was caught in the center of an emotional and unexpected moment that has set the entertainment world buzzing with tension. The scene that played out was raw, shocking, and unforgettable. Joong storming out after seeing Lee Minho kiss Hye Kyo in public. Buckle up, dear viewers, because this is going to be a roller coaster of emotions, perspectives, and fan reactions. And you are right here with me to relive every detail. It all started on what was supposed to be a glittering night of celebration. The event was billed as a star-studded gala, one of those evenings where the biggest names in the industry gather to shine in front of cameras, reconnect with colleagues, and show appreciation for one another's artistry. The venue itself was stunning. Velvet drapes, golden chandeliers, a red carpet lined with flashing cameras, and an atmosphere so charged with excitement that it felt like electricity in the air. Fans lined the entrance outside, chanting their favorite stars' names, holding up signs and live-streaming the arrivals. Nobody could have predicted, however, that this seemingly glamorous evening would turn into one of the most dramatic spectacles of the year. Hye Kyo arrived first, radiating elegance in a breathtaking gown that sparkled under the camera flashes. The crowd erupted into cheers, chanting her name as she glided gracefully across the red carpet. Every step she took seemed to remind the world why she has long been considered one of the queens of Korean entertainment. Soon after, Lee Minho made his entrance, tall, charismatic, and dressed to perfection. His confident stride drew just as many cheers, and the moment his eyes found Hye Kyo across the room, sparks seemed to ignite. Cameras caught the subtle smile they shared, a smile that was innocent enough but loaded with undertones that fans quickly picked up on. Then came Joong, arriving with his usual composed and charming demeanor. But as fate would have it, the night had other plans. While Joong and Hye Kyo have long been associated with their shared history and the emotional ties fans still remember vividly, seeing her with Lee Minho at this event seemed to create an atmosphere heavy with unspoken tension. The three were suddenly in the same space, their stories colliding in a way that no one expected. And then came the moment that shifted everything. Inside the venue, as the night carried on, guests mingled, laughed, and celebrated. The air was alive with chatter, but attention kept circling back to Minho and Hye Kyo. They were seen standing close together, engaged in conversation, and more than once, bursts of laughter passed between them. Fans and cameras alike couldn't get enough of their chemistry. It felt almost cinematic, the kind of interaction that makes people whisper, "Look at them, there's something there." And then, dear viewers, the unexpected happened. In front of the flashing cameras and a stunned crowd, Lee Minho leaned in and kissed Hye Kyo. It wasn't staged, it wasn't rehearsed, and it certainly wasn't expected. It was raw, real, and dramatic. The kiss was brief, tender yet passionate enough to silence the entire room for a moment. Gasps echoed from the crowd, fans screamed, cameras clicked furiously, and social media feeds lit up instantly with videos and photos of the moment. The hashtags exploded within minutes. Hashtag Minho's Hye Kyo kiss, hashtag public love shock, and hashtag drama in real life began trending worldwide. But not everyone reacted with delight. Across the room, Joong's expression changed the second his eyes fell on the kiss. Those who witnessed it say his face went pale, his smile vanished, and a storm of emotions flickered across his features. Shock, hurt, disbelief, and perhaps even anger. He didn't wait to compose himself, didn't try to mask the reaction for the cameras. Instead, in one swift motion, Joong turned and stormed out of the venue. The sound of his footsteps, sharp and heavy, seemed to echo louder than the music that was playing. Guests who saw it happen froze, some whispering, others rushing to their phones to capture the unfolding drama. Lovely viewers, imagine being there in that moment. Imagine the tension so thick you could feel it in your chest, the hush that fell over the glamorous night, the sharp contrast between the tenderness of the kiss and the intensity of Joong's exit. The room was alive with conflicting emotions. Cheers from those who supported Minho and Hye Kyo's connection, shock from those who couldn't believe Joong had walked out, and stunned silence from those caught between admiration and sympathy. Fans outside who were live streaming updates, quickly picked up on the chaos. Clips of Joong storming out began circulating alongside the kiss itself, creating a split screen of drama that no one could look away from. Supporters of Joong rushed to defend him, flooding social media with messages like, "He didn't deserve to be humiliated like that, and my heart breaks for him." Meanwhile, supporters of Minho and Hye Kyo celebrated the boldness of the kiss, calling it the declaration we've been waiting for, and a fairy tale moment in real life. The internet became a battlefield of emotions, with fans passionately debating what the kiss truly meant and whether Joong's storming out was justified. As the night unfolded, reporters scrambled for statements, but neither Minho nor Hye Kyo offered explanations on the spot. Their calmness stood in stark contrast to the frenzy around them. Minho, when asked, only smiled politely, while Hye Kyo gracefully thanked her fans without addressing the elephant in the room. Joong, on the other hand, left the venue entirely, refusing to engage with the press as he got into his car and disappeared into the night. That single choice only fueled the drama further. Now, lovely viewers, here's where you come in. If you were in Joong's shoes, how would you have reacted? Would you have stayed composed, pretending not to notice, or would you too have walked out, unable to hide the storm raging within? And if you were in Hye Kyo's place, how would you balance the weight of the kiss, the reactions of the crowd, and the emotions of someone from your past watching so closely? These are the questions fans are asking themselves, imagining how they would navigate the impossible tangle of love, history, and public attention. The aftermath of the night didn't end with the event. It only began there. News outlets ran with dramatic headlines for days. Entertainment talk shows dissected the kiss frame by frame, analyzing body language, tone, and intent. Some argued it was spontaneous passion, others believed it was carefully thought out, while many insisted it was a message, a bold statement that Minho and Hye Kyo's connection was real and undeniable. At the same time, speculation grew about Joong's state of mind. Was his storming out a sign of lingering feelings for Hye Kyo, or was it simply the shock of seeing something so unexpected? Fans, as always, poured their emotions into the debate. Entire threads emerged online where people role-played what must have been going through each star's mind at the moment. Some even wrote fanfiction about the scene, turning it into a storyline that rivaled the most dramatic K-dramas. The beauty of this, dear viewers, is how interactive the moment became. How one real-life kiss turned into a canvas for millions of people to project their hopes, heartbreaks, and dreams. But perhaps the most telling part of this story isn't the kiss itself, nor Joong's storming out. It's what comes next. Will this moment solidify Lee Minho and Song Hye Kyo's bond in the public eye, turning them into one of the most talked-about power couples? Will Joong address the incident publicly, perhaps clarifying his emotions or setting the record straight? Or will the silence linger, leaving fans to fill the gaps with their own interpretations? That's the drama of real life, lovely viewers. It doesn't come with scripts or neat endings. It leaves us hanging, questioning, and endlessly discussing. And that's why you, the viewers, are part of this story as much as the stars themselves. Your voices, your comments, your passion keep the narrative alive. So I ask you, how do you see this dramatic night? Was the kiss a declaration of love, a spur-of-the-moment act, or something else entirely? Was Joong justified in storming out, or should he have stayed and held his composure? Share your thoughts, your emotions, and your interpretations, because together we are shaping how this story will be remembered. Lovely viewers, this is just the beginning. Because if there's one thing we know about moments like these, it's that the fallout often reveals even more than the act itself. The drama will unfold in the days and weeks to come, and when it does, you can be sure we'll be right here together, reliving every twist, every revelation, and every emotion. Stay tuned, because this story is far from over. We left off with a shocking moment where Joong, overwhelmed with emotion, stormed out after seeing Minho and Hye Kyo share that passionate kiss in public. The crowd's collective gasp still lingers in the air, and you could almost feel the tension thick enough to cut with a knife. As Joong hurried away, cameras flashing behind him, his steps were quick but heavy with unspoken heartbreak. Every stride felt like a battle between pride and pain. And while the public only saw the outward storm, those close to him could tell his inner world was collapsing. How could this happen right before his eyes? Fans watching the viral videos replayed the moment endlessly, dissecting every detail. The way Minho leaned in, the way Hye Kyo didn't resist, the timing of Joong Ki's reaction. It was the perfect storm of drama that no scriptwriter could have imagined. Meanwhile, Minho and Hye Kyo, despite the chaos, seemed lost in their own world for those fleeting seconds. That kiss wasn't just a moment. It was a declaration, bold and unapologetic. For some it was romantic. For others it was reckless. But for everyone it was unforgettable. The crowd around them erupted into a mix of cheers, gasps, and even tears. Phones shot up in the air to capture history in the making, while whispers spread like wildfire. What will Joong Ki do next? And oh, lovely viewers, the aftermath was even more intense than the act itself. Backstage, whispers turned into heated conversations. Joong Ki's close friends rushed after him, trying to calm him down, but he was too furious to listen. The sting of betrayal, the weight of history, and the piercing image of his ex-wife kissing another man. It was too much. He muttered under his breath words no microphone could clearly catch, but lip readers online later claimed he said, "I can't believe this." On the other side, Minho, fully aware of the explosion his kiss had caused, stood firm beside Hye Kyo. He placed a reassuring hand on her back, almost as if to shield her from the storm of flashing cameras and judgmental stares. His eyes carried a message. He wasn't going to back down, and that in itself was a bold move that added more fuel to the fire. Was this his way of saying he was ready to go to war for her love? Fans speculated endlessly. Hye Kyo, however, seemed caught in a whirlpool of emotions. Though her face maintained grace, those who knew her well noticed her trembling fingers as she adjusted her dress. It wasn't just the kiss, it was the magnitude of what had just happened. Joong Ki had seen it. The world had seen it. And now, nothing would ever be the same again. As news outlets broke the story with dramatic headlines, social media turned into a battlefield. Team Joong Ki and Team Minho went head-to-head, each side defending their idol with passion and fire. How could Minho kiss her knowing Joong Ki was right there? Some fans fumed. Others countered. Hye Kyo deserves happiness, and if Minho gives her that, then let them be. The online war mirrored the real-life tension building behind closed doors. But what really set the internet ablaze was the leaked clip of Joong Ki, moments after storming out, caught on camera slamming his car door and burying his face in his hands before driving off. That raw, unguarded moment of pain turned into the most circulated clip of the week. Fans wept for him, while others couldn't help but feel conflicted. Was this heartbreak or was it karma? Opinions were divided. Lovely viewers, this wasn't just a love triangle. It had become a saga of pride, pain, and passion playing out in front of millions. Entertainment reporters camped outside Joong Ki's residence, hoping for a statement. Paparazzi trailed Minho and Hye Kyo, eager to capture even the smallest interaction between them. Every glance, every step, every silence was dissected as the world waited for the next chapter of this real-life drama. Back at the venue, after Joong Ki's dramatic exit, Minho whispered something into Hye Kyo's ear. Cameras couldn't catch the words, but her reaction, a faint smile paired with a tear slipping down her cheek, spoke volumes. Was it comfort? Was it reassurance? Or perhaps a promise of what was to come? Whatever it was, fans were left hungry for answers. And here's where it gets even more dramatic, my lovely audience. Rumors began to swirl that Joong Ki, in his anger, had contacted someone close to Hye Kyo that very night. Some insiders claimed he demanded an explanation, while others whispered he vowed never to cross paths with her again. Which was true. No one knew for certain, but the mere possibility of confrontation sent fans into overdrive. Imagine being there, lovely viewers, witnessing this raw collision of love, jealousy, and history unfold before your very eyes. It wasn't just another celebrity moment. It was history, a memory etched into the minds of fans forever. And the best part, this was only the beginning. The kiss, the storm, the heartbreak. It was just the first spark of a fire that would rage on. Now let me ask you, dear viewers, if you were in Joong Ki's shoes, would you have stormed out too, or stayed and faced it head-on? And if you were Minho, Would you have been bold enough to kiss Hye Kyo in front of the world, knowing the heartbreak it could cause? Share your thoughts, because this drama isn't just theirs. It's ours to reflect on, to debate, and to feel. The night may have ended for the cameras, but for the three hearts entangled in this drama, it was only the beginning of a deeper emotional storm. Imagine Joong driving away from the scene, headlights piercing the dark road. His mind replaying the moment of that kiss over and over like a broken record. Every replay was like salt on an open wound. His grip on the steering wheel was tight, his jaw clenched, and his heart torn between fury and sorrow. For Joong, the storm out wasn't just about pride. It was about the history, the memories, and the love story he once believed would last forever. That public kiss was more than just affection between Minho and Hye Kyo. To him, it was a reminder that the chapter he once starred in had truly closed. Lovely viewers, can you feel that ache? Can you picture him sitting in his car after driving into the quiet, unable to breathe easily, the weight of the past pressing down on him? Meanwhile, back at the venue, the air was still electric from the drama. Minho and Hye Kyo, though surrounded by whispers and flashing cameras, were drawn into their own bubble. Minho leaned closer, speaking quietly to her, perhaps reassuring her, perhaps claiming in that moment that nothing and no one, no disapproving eyes, no history, could stand in the way of what he felt. Hye Kyo, torn between shock and the rush of emotion, couldn't deny the warmth in her chest, though she also carried the heaviness of knowing Joong had witnessed it all. And here's where the continuation turns even more intense. Joong's closest friends, concerned about his state, rushed to his side later that night. Reports swirled that he poured out his frustrations, saying things like, "She was supposed to be my forever, and now look." Whether those words were truly said or merely fueled by gossip, fans couldn't stop talking about it. Online spaces were ablaze with empathy for him, while others countered that Hye Kyo had every right to move on. Lovely viewers, imagine the clash of emotions here. Joong torn between hurt and anger, Minho standing bold in his affection, and Hye Kyo caught between the weight of her past and the promise of her present. This wasn't just a moment. It was a collision of timelines, where the past and present met head-on in front of the entire world. And oh, Joong's next move. He didn't stay silent for long. Word spread that he unfollowed not just Hye Kyo, but also Minho on social media. And action fans quickly noticed and spread like wildfire. Some claimed he even deleted old pictures that hinted at softer times. It was a symbolic move, a digital storm out that matched the physical one from the reunion. Fans read it as a message. He's drawing the line and he won't play the fool. But here's the twist, my lovely audience. Rumors also emerged that Joong had agreed to meet privately with a mutual friend of both him and Hye Kyo the next day. Why? To vent, to seek closure, or perhaps to demand answers. Nobody knows for sure, but those whispers only deepened the mystery. The thought of a secret conversation happening behind closed doors left fans restless, wondering what was said, and whether it would lead to reconciliation, confrontation, or even more drama. On the other hand, Minho and Hye Kyo didn't retreat into silence. The two were spotted leaving the event together later that evening. Cameras caught Minho opening the car door for her, his hand steady on her shoulder as if to shield her from the frenzy. That protective gesture, though small, set hearts racing. Fans interpreted it as a bold statement. He's not afraid, he's standing by her side. And just like that, hashtags celebrating their chemistry flooded timelines, as if the public itself was split into camps of heartbreak and hope. Lovely viewers, can you imagine being a fan standing on either side of this? One group grieving with Joong, feeling his heartbreak as though it were their own, while another group cheered for Minho and Hye Kyo, believing in second chances and love that finds its way. The emotional tug-of-war wasn't just for the stars. It extended to all of us who followed their journeys, who saw reflections of our own heartbreaks and hopes in their story. And so, the saga continued. Joong's storm out was no longer just a moment of anger. It had sparked a chain of events that no one could have predicted. It wasn't only about what happened in public anymore, but what would unfold in private, away from the cameras, in the spaces where real emotions don't need an audience. Now, my lovely audience, the question that burns is this. Will Joong-ki's storm out push him to finally let go of the past, or will it ignite a battle for Hye Kyo's heart, a battle that Minho seems more than ready to fight?